Hello, today the purpose of the video is to just talk about the power of little steps, of consistent chipping away at a goal, chipping away at the target that you've set for yourself. So this is something that's very important to me because personally the way that generally my psyche is set up is that I tend to want to go for home runs or to think about doing things like constantly. So it's one of the things that I'm going to try to do is to be open and share my own personal journey, as I sort of find what I like and what I enjoy. So the power of the little step. Constantly, it's been about a year since I recorded the last video that I did. I think the last video that I did was on a book, Mimetic Desire, a book that really has helped me in terms of finding my own individual ideas and concepts that I'm sort of putting together. So anyway, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is how about sometimes when we set on a goal, what I found is there's the idea of benchmarking versus comparison. So I think the wisdom says that we shouldn't compare ourselves against other people. So say in my instances, I look at other very successful YouTube channels and I look at some people that I admire and how they just they flow so freely and they share their idea, and sometimes it's like you want to benchmark yourself, or you look at like, oh, no one has even really listened or watched to the videos that I've made and when you post. But then what I'm trying to learn as well as internalize for myself is that everybody's going on a journey, and I know this is cliche, this is not anything new, this is something that we've always known all the time, to say that my journey is different from the other person's journey. But that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna pip and say, oh, what's happening on the other side, or what is the other people doing. So in the context of this, I think the lesson that I'm learning is that I should be able to have the grace and the self-compassion to understand where I am in the journey. And one of the things that I've been identifying is that sometimes there has been things maybe where you underestimate the effort, or you underestimate the level of intensity that's going to be required for a task. And therefore, as a result of that, I am aiming for these massive goals to say, I want to make as much as 50 videos and everything. But then that's just the idea of that is just very consistent. So I think at the beginning of this financial year, I set myself a goal, my holiday, and I was just with my wife, and we went to the US, and it was a very amazing trip because it was very eye-opening. It was my first time in that country, and I saw a lot of different things. I went to San Francisco, went to Las Vegas, we went to Chicago, then we crossed the border over to Toronto, and then we ended up in New York. And I really loved all the cities, but what the culmination of all of that is that it was just little steps, month by month, put aside whatever we were planning, and it actually came to pass. So in the context, I'm like, I've been learning that some of the things that I've actually done quite well in my life, whether, say, for example, for my career, being a chartered accountant was something that was very important and that was very crucial for my career growth. And at some point in time, what that meant was I was diligent. On the Mondays. I would go to a university that was close to where I used to stay, and I would study for a couple hours. I think it was about 7:30 to 9:30. It wasn't anything crazy, and I'd do that consistently on Mondays and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then I still had the weekend because I was somebody who liked to be involved, being the social person that I am. And the goal actually arrived, and I achieved that many years ago. Following on that, I did a master's degree, even planning for the wedding, and that thing has always been sort of successful when I have a very 100%, I am motivated and I'm going for it, like just chipping away slowly, one subject at a unit, studying, doing one thing. So anyway, the thing I'm saying is that I think, and this is a message to myself as well as a message that I'm saying to somebody else, is don't underestimate the little small step. And I know that I keep on reiterating the point because it's like, it's something that's new. And one of the missions that I have for the purposes of this channel is to effectively share knowledge with my fellow friends or people who have the same similarities and sensibilities that I have, and people who are time poor, where I'm able to consolidate things that I'm learning and things that I'm enjoying and things that I'm passionate about. Like and share with everybody. But sometimes you get imposter syndrome. You know, I stand in front of the camera and then all of a sudden I go blank. And to be honest, I'm not a person who generally runs out of things to say or runs out of something to say, because I always have something that I want to share, and not from a perspective of like I'm a know-it-all. I 100% don't even know it all. And the funny thing is, as far as this like YouTube journey, which has sort of been a start-stop, if I am being honest with myself in terms of where I thought I would be today versus where I am, where the majority has actually really been a battle with myself in terms of what I think I'm capable of doing. So sometimes I can have this belief that I have internally to say that this is what I think I am capable of. This is what I think that I am able to do. And I look at other people, I look at great YouTubers, I look at people that are creating content and then that I follow consistently. I'm like, oh yeah, of course I can do that. But when it actually comes to standing, like say I'm going to record a 10-minute video, you know, you freeze, because it's like a new arena. And I learned this concept from my coaches, which was about the 4 rules of the subconscious mind, which is almost in a way that our subconscious is trying to protect us. So in a way, when you enter into a new role, it's like comfort zone. It's called like, oh, like this is something that you haven't done before and it's scary. And as a result, either then focus on things that are not even beneficial to the overall objective and the goal that you're trying to do. So like, say for example, I can then start a website, and then on starting the website, researching what's out, and then do endless research that actually doesn't turn into actualities, or it doesn't turn into something that you've actually say, okay, this is the product that I've produced. So back to the power of little steps. What I'm actually learning is that I think it's good to have a goal. If you are a visionary, like a massive, say that this is what we're going to achieve. Like in my business, like I want to be able to do this. In my career, I want to be able to do this. But one thing that I found is when I look at when I graduated in 2011 from my university, I had this big goal. Like I thought I was going to be a CFO in no time. I'll be trailblazing and I'll be doing all those things. And I used to set goals, like milestones along the way, like over the last 10-11 years, and I have achieved a lot of the things that I set, like in terms of, but not necessarily at the timeline that I put, because maybe at that timeline I might have underestimated the effort that is actually required. I might not have had clarity about how important this goal is to me, or even what is the price that you have to pay, because everything that we do, there's a price. Essentially, there's a price that you have to pay. There's the effort, there's sweat equity, there's allocation, and we're already busy, you know, with work, the commitments that we have with family, our loved ones, and everything. So back to the point that I'm saying, that just acknowledging that, you know, everything doesn't have to be a home run. As long as you are chipping away and you're staying consistent at it, like you will arrive at that point. And back to the thing about the subconscious, to say that it's almost like trying to protect us, like, oh, this is something, run away, you don't know anything, but almost I need to build up like a new confidence. It's like, and there's the Dunning-Kruger effect, which basically says that sometimes the graph of when we think we know something, we start at the top and we think, oh, I know a whole lot about this thing, only to realize that, oh snap, I actually don't know much about it. And that's the thing. And don't have to know all the steps. I don't need to know all the step, like, you know, what is going to happen to this. However, if I just do one step at a time, the next time when I make 2 actions and I move forward in a certain direction, that's actually going to lead to something else. So right behind me, like I was talking about how I love travel, and I've realized that I actually do love life. I have this world map behind me. It essentially represents, like, just always, it's there for me to keep an open mind and an understanding that, okay, there's this big world right there. You know, I might be in this corner, which is Australia, but like there's this whole wild world that's there. And when I was in New York, there was something like that was real. I remember like standing outside the New York Stock Exchange, and one of the desires that I've always had is, you know, like to start a company that's going to be listed and everything, and just feeling that. But sometimes, you know, like it's about stay consistent, man. Like just keep on doing what you're doing at the best level that you can. And you never know, like it's going to grow. So from beginner, and then you get to the next step and you grow. So that's the journey, and I hope I am encouraging, because I'm also encouraging myself. I know I can do it. I absolutely know that I can do it, but I've come to the acknowledgement out of a place of, I guess, humility, just to say, do you know what? I'm actually a novice in this area. Yes, I might be an expert in certain things, I might know other things, but in this journey that I'm starting, it's a new journey, and that's okay. And therefore, I should do the little steps that I can and just do things consistently. And the more that I just chip on them, I know that it's eventually going to happen. So I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to creating more content. Please leave a comment in terms of what you would like, what you'd like to cover. I've got different interests that I have, and I'm still just trying to consolidate how I can do. But I think if the past for me is an indicator, is that the more that I try to do so many other things and try to almost like find the end game and how it's going to link, is almost then leads to paralysis analysis, where you're just completely keeping on doing endless research and actually not then bogging down to say that this is something that I'm doing. So I hope that you found this video helpful, because I love to share this information, and I'm going to have more. Hope you found this valuable. If you found it valuable, subscribe, add a like, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.